I called the cops on my stepdad yesterday and caused my mom to finally want a divorce. So, the title is self-explanatory, but I just want to put this in here. My stepdad 49M has a big problem with drinking and has gone to jail 3 times in the last 2 years because of it. Every single time, I was the one who had to call the cops on him for being violent and hitting my mom 38F and my little brother 14M. This time, he kept calling my mom while she was at work to yell at her for not bringing him food and kept calling me every time my mom wouldn't listen just so he could complain to me and yell at me for not telling her to bring him food while she's at work. During all of this, stepdad was around 30 minutes from my mom, and even if she were to have taken him food on her lunch break, she wouldn't have made it back on time to clock back in and she would have gotten in big trouble with her boss. On top of all the yelling, he was sending some threatening text messages to both of us and threatened me on call while drunk, which I had on recording. Now, he was already 1.5 years into a 3-year probation sentence and wasn't allowed to drink or have face-to-face contact with my brother. Both of those he broke within the first week of probation and kept breaking up until this point. This didn't bother me since he wasn't being violent, raising his voice, or being overly too much like he had been in the past. The morning this situation happened, his PO put out a warrant for his arrest but didn't know where he was. After I had talked to my mom, she sent me all the screenshots she had of all the texts he sent, which pushed me over the edge. I knew where he was and knew enough details to make sure the police got him for the right things. I called the non-emergency number for my town and gave them everything they would need to know to catch him and make sure he wasn't allowed to get in contact with my mom. The best part of all of this, the last time he called me, which of course involved him yelling at me for not telling my mom to do things for him, the police showed up and took him with them with me still on the phone. I heard everything that happened and everything he would be charged with. I do not feel bad at all for doing this. I was protecting my family from his verbal and possible future physical abuse. We have been through enough in the past and we didn't need to go through anything else because of all of this, and now mom is planning on getting divorce papers sent to the jail so all of this can finally end and so she can protect us from his drinking problems. My GF of 7 months left me for a guy she knew for a week. Context: my family and I, 18M, moved to Alaska for the summer because of my parents' job. I left from Virginia for 2.5 months. I am going back at the end of summer for college and would live about 2 hours away. So here's what happened. I am not a big fan of people smoking weed and drinking, especially if they needed to have an enjoyable time. I especially hate any kind of smoking or vaping because I have seen firsthand how poorly that affects you. I also don't like her doing that because she had a rough past with those things because of some trauma. My ex-GF went to a 4th of July party and did all of these things with the knowledge I don't love her doing that. Before she told me all this though, we were in an argument because the things she was posting on her story made it seem like she was cheating and she was leaving me open to ignoring me. A day later she told me all the other stuff and we took about a week of calling and FaceTiming to mend the relationship. She had met a guy there, we'll call him X, that she enjoyed hanging out with and told me it was purely a friendship and she had no feeling for X. About a week after put argument we were pretty much done solving all the communication issues we were having and I thought everything was fine. She called me and told me that she was thinking about the future and whatever. I tried to calm her down but then she told me that she was thinking about X. I couldn't stand and told her if she was genuinely considering him over me, take him because I am not a second option. She ended it. I am now stuck in a hotel room in Alaska with no real clarity and no friends to help me. My family is helping but it's hard to not let it get into my head and I need help from someone. I've been blowing my landlord instead of paying rent. So yeah, this has been going on since June 2020 during the pandemic when I lost my job. Started off as a monthly thing but I'm doing it every 2 weeks now. Not exactly proud of myself but TBH I'm happy not paying rent, which is ridiculously high in London anyway. My girlfriend cheated on me after 7 years. Just found out about 2 hours ago. We've been together for 7 years. No arguments, no physical fights. We did everything together. We clicked like a great couple. Just found out she slept with her ex about 2 to 3 times in the last month or so. I'm hurt, angry, embarrassed. I confronted her when she got home. She didn't deny it. She had a stone-cold look on her face with no emotions. I told her right there we're done and she needs to get her stuff out ASAP. She said she had nowhere to go. I told her I don't care that this is the consequences of cheating. She left with a suitcase. I'll be packing her stuff in the next few days for her. I don't want her in my life. I don't trust her. So much more I want to write but it's just exhausting. People that cheat suck. Take the time and tell your partner something is wrong. Break it off. Do something other than cheat. Many lives are going to be hurting from her actions. Mutual friends, family, etc. etc. I have an Audi down there and I hate it. I have an Audi V or whatever you call it and I hate it so much. I am so insecure about it makes me sick. I just am so insecure about that I'm scared I get to that one day of the deed my SO will feel disgusted and make fun of me. Audi Vs get called plenty of things like meat flaps and beef sandwiches and ever since the internet hated on them, I started hating mine too. It is definitely the most insecure thing I am with my body by far, way other than other stuff. I want to learn to love it but I hate how it looks on me. It's making my self-confidence go down a ton.